Welcome to the Bold Analysis. My name is Frank. For a better part of yesterday and today, while accompanying the president on a tour of the Mount Kenya region, anger and emotionally rooted content has been the tone of Rigathi Gachagua's better part of his speech as of yesterday and today, as I've mentioned to you, while accompanying Ruto on the Mount Kenya tour.
Adwa nyoba ito muri okuo adwa ito no moyo mereirie ona kwagya na heho ona ni ndeyometie wakaheti wakairetu. Mumefurahi kuona kiongozi wetu Mheshimiwa Rais, tunakushukuru sana kwa kufika hapa Kirinyaga. Wewe na mimi na hao viongozi tulitembea katika kaunti hii, tukaomba hao watu ya Kirinyaga watupatie nafasi ya uongozi, wakatuombea, wakatuongeza kura, tukakuwa viongozi wa Kenya. Tumerudi hapa Kirinyaga sasa Rais, kwa sababu miaka miwili umekuwa ukipanga kazi na kazi ilikuwa ngumu. Sasa kazi imeanza kuingia laini. Sasa umefika hapa kwa watu ya Kirinyaga kwa ziara ya maendeleo. Rais, unasema pongezi, pongezi. Papo project umekuwa pale na Rais ya County Industrial and Aggregation Park na EPZ. Mimi nimefurahi sana kwa sababu hiyo mradi ikiisha, hao watoto wetu wote watapata kazi pale, na tunafurahi sana. Na Rais, this project has come at the right time. Hapo mbeleni tulikuwa tumelemewa na pombe ile ya kuua watu, si ndio? Imepungua, bado pungua? Si imepungua? Rais, hao vijana wangu walikuwa wamepotea, walikuwa wanalala kwa mitaro. Wengine vijana wako na mabibi wazuri wanarembo, wanalala chini ya kitanda. Ni ujinga, si ujinga? Ni olimo kati olimo. Uwe na mohiki muthako gako barugu wa gitanda. Ni olimo kati olimo. Rais, pia tunakushukuru kwa sababu watu ya Kirinyaga ni wakulima ya kahawa. Na wewe ukituongoza tumeweka shilingi bilioni 7 ya kulipa madeni ya wakulima. Mambo ya majani chai Rais tunatatua. Mambo ya mchele tunatatua. Tumekuwa na matatizo kidogo. Mimi naomba watu wangu, huyu Rais tumpatie nafasi. Tutampatia nafasi. Juzi watu wamepiga kelele, ameweka baraza ya mawaziri wapya. Hata hawa kina Joho walikuwa huko ODM, wakuje hapa tuwaoneshe kazi. Tuwaoneshe, tusiwaoneshe. Sasa tunataka, tumesema, Rais amesema hatutaki mtu kupiga kelele huko nje. Kuja tuongee hapa ndani ya boma, tupange kazi ya Kenya. Neguo adwa ito. Neguo. Torogamereo hau. Torogamereo hau. Na tuge adwa nyoba ito tondu ndirenda hota guka kuma mwatuthura na njamba eno. Ni mwatwikire wega. Na matutiari handu hega. Tanie manari handu hacheke. Mugitoiguira tha. Mugitohe kura. Kuma ngoro yakwa thiini ya mukirai ngatho ciakwa. Na tukiendelea mbele, Rais, ni kuhakikishia nikiwa hapa Kirinyaga, sisi watu ya Mount Kenya, hii ni serikali yetu. Sisi tuliamuka mapema tukainvest kwa serikali ya President William Ruto. Nimesikia viongozi wengine wamepotea wakisema ate sisi hatuwezi toka kwa serikali. Sisi tutoke kwa serikali tuende wapi? Hii ni serikali yetu. Neitoka ati ito. Neitoka ati ito. I want to ask leaders not to make statements that confuse wananchi. That kind of nonsense should be contained within WhatsApp groups. Muongee huko. Mukifika hapa kwa mashinani, muongee lugha ambaye inaelekeza wananchi vizuri. Huyu ni rais wetu, ni sisi tulimchagua, tukumchagua. Tunaweza wacha yule tulichagua? Si ni sisi tulimchagua? Sisi tuko kwa hii serikali 100%, tuko ndani na hii ni serikali yetu. Neguo adwa ito. Ni adwa igana malauga tu thirikari ne.
But his anger this time round is not directed to the president as it has been the case before, but today and yesterday it has been directed to the local leaders from Mount Kenya who seem to be speaking a different language from him. Because one thing comes out clearly, that he wants to be the de facto political leader of Mount Kenya, but then some of these leaders have been trying to scuttle some of his attempts of being the de facto Mount Kenya leader. Yesterday is when things started boiling, when Ruto broke protocol and invited Ndindi Nyoro to speak after Rigathi Gachagua, even at a moment when some leaders from Murang'a yesterday publicly called on Ruto to ditch Gachagua for the running mate ticket of 2027 in favor for Ndindi Nyoro. Now, today, the boiling political temperatures within the man Rigathi Gachagua escalated further when Kirinyaga Governor Waiguru rose to speak and maintained their support as a region for the president's idea of a broad-based government, and Waiguru having maintained that they are fully in government. Here is Waiguru.
Watu wamenituma Mheshimiwa Rais. Sisi tunakuunga mkono sana kwa hii serikali ambayo unaita ya broad-based. Si ndio? Mimi nataka kukuambia Mheshimiwa Rais, watu wa Kirinyaga na watu wa hapa Kariti wamesema hao hawataki kamwe kuwa upande wa opposition. Sisi hatutaki kukuwa upande wa opposition. Kana mureda gothi opposition. Kwa mureda gothi opposition. Sisi tunataka kukaa ndani ya serikali yako. Ndio tukue na maendeleo kama hii ambayo tunaona. Ithatigu andũ aitũ. Neiga na marauga mareda goikara thĩinĩ wa thirikari ya William Samoei Ruto. Alafu niseme hivi, tugaga atĩrĩrĩ na Gĩkũyũ. Kana gacagi gatigaga kwa gwĩka atĩa? Gũgĩka atĩa? No gatogotiga gwitũ gũgĩthĩnjwo.
One thing played out clearly, that Gachagua didn't want to directly direct his resentment and anger to his boss, but to other Mount Kenya leaders whom he particularly feels should be following his shots and not the shots of the president directly. Remember, he has tried to maintain his cool for a better part of this tour of Mount Kenya, and speaking only for a few seconds and trying to avoid politics when invited to speak in front of the president, and diverting to speak on issues related to a farmer's plight and issues surrounding drug and substance abuse. But then, people are asking that why is the anger coming out at the very last minute of the trip, and why the momentarily change of heart from a cool, composed man to now an explosive Rigathi Gachagua, now directing his anger not to the president but to the leaders. Number one, these are the issues that seem to be angering or to be centered around the anger that Rigathi Gachagua is having. One is the yesterday's Murang'a unfolding. You know, in Murang'a County, save only for one leader who has publicly declared his support for Rigathi Gachagua, that is the deputy governor of Murang'a County. But all the other leaders from Murang'a, even to those who accompanied them on that trip, have been speaking favoring the side of Ndindi Nyoro and not Rigathi Gachagua. So, this one even played out clearly when those leaders rose to speak, heaping praises on Ndindi Nyoro and not touching on Rigathi Gachagua. But when they touched on Rigathi Gachagua, it seemed as a direct jab thrown at Rigathi Gachagua. And also in that unfolding, the momentary decision by the president to invite Ndindi Nyoro to speak after Rigathi Gachagua did not sit well with Rigathi Gachagua along with his handlers, who felt like that was an act of belittlement to the deputy president of Kenya. But something also came out that Rigathi must have read Ruto's intent of trying to play away and measure politics of who is the heavyweight between Rigathi Gachagua and Ndindi Nyoro. Because one thing that is now coming out clearly is that the president seems to be in a campaign-mooted mood that he seems to be slowly crawling to in regards to the 2027, and this one is likely to be enabled by incorporating some members of the opposition into his government, therefore giving him a level ground to try to play politics as other people concentrate on other important matters concerning the nation. Then, yesterday, Rigathi made some statement in Murang'a that I would wish to read for you here, just a quote, because yes, I've seen that it would be wise to read for you that quote to be good for this analysis. So Rigathi said something that clearly came out as politics and confirmed that there must be a problem between him and the likes of Ndindi Nyoro. So he said this: "I never tire of reminding you that you have no choice but to unite as a region. Never fight your brother. Never embrace your brother with a knife in his back. Never be jealous of your sister when she gets married by a rich suitor. He could be the one to help you." Rigathi said that yesterday. He also spoke of some young ambitious politicians in the Mount Kenya region who are plotting for 2027 and 2032. Something that seemed to be a clear fight between him and the likes of Ndindi Nyoro, and the decision by the president to invite Ndindi Nyoro to speak after him not sitting well with him. Number two, the anger that is around might be centered on something that Rigathi felt that this was the time for Ruto to address some of his demands that he made while addressing the vernacular radio and TV stations from the Mount Kenya region on the August 4th famous praise statement that he made at his home in Karen. Remember, that is when he invited the various media houses and outlets from the Mount Kenya region, and that praise release or praise statement or interview that was made was centered on around 15 demands that he wanted to be met by his boss. But then the 15 demands to Rigathi Gachagua, he wanted some of them not directly addressed, but an indication that they had reached the ears of the president while in that tour, by president touching on some of the issues or acting on some of the issues, like the issues of belittlement and so on and so forth. And yesterday, while in Murang'a also, he kept referring to the people that you saw me talk to the media on August 4th and address the issues that are concerning the region. But then that was not given importance as he had thought in that tour for a better part of yesterday. The third reason for the anger and resentment was today's Waiguru speech that Waiguru made in Sagana that seemed to have rubbed him in the wrong way, while at the same time Waiguru wanted to affirm that they are in government and they are in full support of Ruto, while Rigathi's intention at the same time while speaking, he wanted to affirm to the ground that there is rather no problem between him and Ruto, as leaders who are surrounding Ruto are the problems. Because this was his momentary ground to be actually speaking before the president while in Kirinyaga and in Sagana, to be specific, because this has huge political importance. The Sagana has a huge political importance in as far as the politics of Mount Kenya are concerned. And not just Sagana, but Kirinyaga as a whole, because a majority of the leaders also in Kirinyaga seem to be split. While some have rooted support for Rigathi Gachagua, some have rooted support for William Ruto through the governor Anne Waiguru, who seems not to be sitting pretty well with Rigathi Gachagua. So, This one, Rigathi read the speech by Waiguru. Let me just play for you the speech, the last minutes of the speech.
Najua hiyo utaelezewa na ninaona Ndindi hapo, naona seneta watakwambia. Nikuambie hivi Mheshimiwa Rais, niliona watu wengine walikuwa wamekupangia mabaya. Walikuwa wanataka uanguke, lakini wewe na Mungu wako upande yako ukajipanga na ukafanya vile unajua wewe. Sasa tuko na serikali ya broad base. Mimi kwa Kikuyu tunasema ona mokoroni atarago noko rumote kagwatea. Noko rumote kagatea. Yani sisi tunasema mkubwa wako ama mzee wako unaweza mpa mawaidha tekiwa wewe ni mdogo. Kile siwezi fanya ni kukutukana. Torauga terere, mawaidha yangu mimi Mheshimiwa Rais ni kidogo. Kwa Kikuyu wanasema mumagari ne wajo washigana. Mumagari ne wajo washigana. Hapo utauliza Ndindi Nyoro atakwambia vile nimesema. Gaya muradhime na mwekewega.
So, directly what jumped into Rigathi's mind is that there are some people who are on a mission to try to blacklist him from the president such that they can present themselves. Because his intent politically seems to be that one, that he wants the people to access the presidency through him and not the other way that they are doing. So, one thing came out clearly also from Waiguru's speech, that she wanted to praise Ruto for having escaped the political blackmail plot that had been presented and was always being played by Rigathi Gachagua. If you read in between Waiguru's speech carefully. Because there is somewhere where Waiguru said in Swahili, and I want to quote, that mzee wako unaweza mpa mawaidha hata ukiwa wewe ni mtoto mdogo. That one didn't get to Rigathi very well because it seemed like a target that was thrown to him by Anne Waiguru. The fourth issue or reason surrounding the resentment and anger is the anger of a political coup by young ambitious politicians in 2027 and 2032. He knows that they might as well as jostle that deputy presidency or that seniority in terms of the politics of the mountain away from him in 2027 if the calls for having to persuade Ruto drop him come 2027 succeed. Or if Ruto doesn't do the same and maintains him come 2027, then 2032 that might not be the issue, because these young politicians shall have had a built political profile with the blessings of the president, something that will not work for him politically. One thing that also comes out clearly is that Rigathi seems to be afraid to make a political move outside Kenya Kwanza as of now, as people have been supporting him that if he's man enough, then he should walk out of that marriage and go and look for formidable working relationships with the likes of Kalonzo Musyoka. Because one thing comes out, that when he went to the working table with William Ruto in 2022, they didn't go through a political party. And that is some as to why the reason that he's finding himself in a politically unstable corner. Because with no political party, it means that he can't claim to have a command of some maybe members of parliament directly from the region. Because for the members of parliament who have been supporting him and have been standing with him are from the region, yes, but do not have elective positions from the constituencies of the region. You look at James Gakuya, a member of parliament for Embakasi North in Nairobi. You look at Major Donk, a member, or Benjamin Gathiru Donk, a member of parliament from Embakasi Central in Nairobi. These are leaders based outside Nairobi. The likes of Kimani Wanjiru, I'm forgetting the name, but he's a former Nyeri member of parliament. He doesn't have an elective political seat from the region. So therefore, making a move at this particular time outside Kenya Kwanza might backfire, because he doesn't have the MPs that he can claim that have got a better share of mine also to back him and sell him in the region, because he cannot do the selling as he purports alone. He needs some foot soldiers, according to correct politics. If he's to play the right politics, he needs foot soldiers who can call the shots on his behalf while on the ground. At the same time, he is also afraid to do this because his intent of earlier trying to make a statement that is the regional kingpin after having succeeded in sending Mr. Kenyatta away together with Mr. Odinga, he wanted to be the regional kingpin. But then that did not succeed. And now he has reverted, claiming that he's a political kingpin while Mr. Kenyatta is the regional kingpin. At the same time, he has reverted to praising Mr. Kenyatta. I want to read to you some quote also of a segment of a speech that was made by Ndindi yesterday in Muranga, something that did not sit pretty well with Rigathi Gachagua. Ndindi said this: "I have made a personal vow that even if he pokes my eyes, I will remain peaceful and apologize for putting my eye his way. If he hits my face, I will remain cool and apologize for putting my face his way. But in all this, it should never be constructed that I'm a coward." You know, that is the level of the confidence that these ambitious young politicians from the region have in regards to combating Rigathi Gachagua directly. So he's aware of that scheme. That is what he's trying to avoid by trying also to come out and speaking boldly as the deputy president and as a senior political figure within the Mount Kenya region. So he's careful. He doesn't want to be made irrelevant by ditching Ruto for as early as 2027, because that might make him irrelevant without a clear political strategy in place, without a political party in place. The other reason as to why he has this anger, he has attempted to divert attention of any fights between him and the president, while at the same time the leaders from the region have tried to insist to the people that indeed there is a fight between Rigathi Gachagua and the president, and they are trying to portray Rigathi Gachagua as the problem, while at the same time Rigathi Gachagua is trying to portray the leaders as the problem. But he wants to escape this matrix that is likely to get himself involved him. That is why he is trying to send a message to the ground that he is not the problem, as the leaders are putting it, but rather it is the leaders who are having the problem with him. You remember, that's why he said in that interview that those who are surrounding the president are the problem. At the same time, in regards to the speech that he made today, in the same scheme and script, he wants also to show support for the new cabinet decision, though this is a bitter pill for him to swallow. He's trying to say, oh, we have the likes of Akina Joho, we've brought them in, so on and so forth. Thank you for watching. That marks the end of our analysis.